Hey, this is Will. I have been, for some reason, just super nervous about sharing anything on YouTube. It freaks me out, but the Father made it abundantly clear um, that if I don't, the testimony that was given to me will be the judge and come after me. I don't understand all that, but it scares me. So what's really interesting is that the thing that was keeping me from doing videos, fear, is the thing that is making me do videos. Fear. Yeah, it's a thing, right? So anyway, here we go. I'm going to share the testimony that was given to my dad, and since then he has unfolded all kinds of scripture to me that just continues to back it up and reveals more of it. So, uh, the testimony starts with Ezekiel 1. My dad was giving preparing himself to tell the gospel to my uncle that was a new believer. They just got baptized back in 1986, I believe. And so he did a 30-day fast. After the fast and praying and everything, he decided it was time. So he got his Bible, set it on the table, and he got down on his knees and he began to pray. And he said, "Father, if you could help me understand your gospel, give me something that I may share with him, then all glory to you. But I need your help. I need to understand it better." So he gets up off of the ground. I'm sure he said a prayer differently than that, but that's the gist of it. Gets up off the ground. He sets the Bible. That's the part that he said in his prayer. He said, "I am going to just let the Bible open up. Wherever it opens up, that's where I know you want me to start." So he gets up, he puts the Bible on its end, lets it open up. It opens up to Ezekiel 1. He reads the entire thing. And here it is. "Now it came to pass, in the 13th year, in the 4th month, on the 5th day of the month, I was among the captives by the river Chebar, that the heavens were opened, and I saw visions of God. On the 5th day of the month, which was in the 5th year of King Jehoiakim's captivity, the word of the Lord came expressly to Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans, by the river Chebar, and the hand of the Lord was upon him there. Then I looked, and beheld, a whirlwind was coming out of the north, a great cloud with raging fire engulfing itself. The brightness was all around it, and radiating out of its midst like the color of amber. Out of the midst of the fire also from within it came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. Each one had 4 faces, and each one had 4 wings. Their legs were straight. The soles of their feet were like the soles of calves' feet. They sparkled like the color of burnished bronze. The hands of the man were under their wings, like their wings on their 4 sides, and each of the 4 Each of the four had faces and wings. Their wings touched one another. The creatures did not turn when they went, but each one went straight forward. As for the likeness of their faces, each had the face of a man. Each of the four had the face of a lion on the right side, and each of the four had the face of an ox on the left side. And each of the four had the face of an eagle. Thus were their faces. Their wings stretched upward. 2 wings of each one touched one another, and 2 covered their bodies. And each one went straight forward. They went wherever the Spirit wanted them to go. And they did not turn when they went. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, like the appearance of torches going back and forth. The appearance was like burning coals of fire, like the appearance torches going back and forth among the living creatures. The fire was bright, and out of the fire went lightning, and the living creatures ran back and forth, in appearance like a flash of lightning. Now I looked at the living creatures. Behold, a wheel was on the north side, each living creature with its 4 faces. The appearance of the wheels and their workings was like the color of beryl, and all 4 had the same likeness. The appearance of their working was, as it were, a wheel in the middle of a wheel. When they moved, they went toward any one of the 4 directions. They did not turn aside when they went. As for the rims, they were so high and were awesome, and their rims were full of eyes all around, the 4 of them. When the living creatures went, the wheels went beside them, and when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Wherever the Spirit wanted to go, they went, because the Spirit went. And the wheels were lifted together with them. For the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. When those went, these went. When those stood, these stood. When those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up together with them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. The likeness of the firmament above the heads of the living creatures was like the color of an awesome crystal, stretched out over their heads. And under the firmament their wings spread out straight, one towards another. Each one had 2 wings. Each one had 2 which covered one side, and each one had 2 which covered the other side of the body. When they went, I heard the noise of their wings, like the noise of many waters, like the voice of the Almighty, a tumult, like the noise of an army. And when they stood still, they let their wings down. A voice came from above the firmament that was over their heads. Whenever they stood, they let down their wings. And above the firmament over their heads was the likeness of a throne, in appearance like a sapphire stone. On the likeness of the throne was a likeness with the appearance of a man high above it. Also from the appearance of his waist and upward I saw, as it were, the color of amber, with the appearance of fire all around within it. And from the appearance of his waist and downward I saw, as it were, the appearance of fire with brightness all around, like the appearance of a rainbow in a cloud on a rainy day. So was the appearance of the brightness all around it. It was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. as he read that, and I'm sure everyone who has read that says, wow. I mean, wow. What did I just read? And so he gets down off the ground, or on the ground, and he gets on his knees. He's like, okay, Father, I don't think you understood. I need to oh my goodness. I need to teach your gospel. And so please, I'm going to let the book open up wherever you want me to start. And so he gets off the floor, he sets the book up, and it opens up to none other than Ezekiel 1. Now, books don't open up where you haven't been reading very much. And he would always say that he never has read Ezekiel. He's read it going through the whole Bible, but other than that, it was not really much study or anything like that. It's just not, it's crazy, right? So he reads it again because he was perplexed as to why it opened up to that book again. He gets back down on his knees and he says, Father, if you are wanting me to understand your gospel from this, I need your help. If there is any way that I could have inspired study to understand what you're trying to tell me, then please help me. And he said it was like a flash of light went off in his head. And he gets up and he begins to read. And the Father unloads exactly what he is seeing. He says, do you see the four living creatures? These four living creatures are the 4 times the gospel has come to earth. Each one represents a time frame. Each one has 4 heads. The first one is a man. The second one is an ox. The third one is a lion. And the fourth one is an eagle. Whenever they come down on the earth, they change the course of mankind permanently. They all come down on the earth, and they all come up off of the earth. They do not change direction, they do not change course. They have one purpose, and to come down and to come off. The first time they were down on the earth was the face of the man. This is Adam's time. The second time was the face of an ox. This was Moses' time. The third time they came down was the face of a lion. That is the Lion of Judah. The fourth time that they will come down is the time that you live. That is the face of the eagle. The circles, the wheels beside each living creature, is its own time in which they are to come down on the earth. The big circle is all of time. The circles within the circle. That big circle is all of time in which all 4 living creatures will come down on the earth. For the spirit of the living creature is in the wheel and in its time. And when they come down on the earth, they all come down on the earth. So Whatever Moses had, Jesus had, Yeshua. Whatever Jesus had, Adam had. And whatever Adam had will be had again in the time of the eagle. So this is the testimony that my father was given. I was going to break all these up, but I think that I'm going to continue. So I was working one time on a construction crew. We were framing houses, and I got home and I was super tired, and I got in my chair, passed out for a little bit like I normally do, and for like 5-10 minutes, whatever it is, just have a little power nap. And then I woke back up, had some dinner, we sat down to watch some kids shows with Ezekiel, my son, which I will get to that testimony sometime, but not this time. We put on Noah's Ark. It was a little 5 or 3 minute video. They just went through Noah's Ark super quick, and it went. They had Noah building the boat and everything, and then he was up on the top of the boat and came out the window, and first one he sent out was a blackbird. And in the video it said, and it went to and fro on the earth and never returned to the ark. I was like, well, that's interesting. Then he waited 7 days and sent out a dove. And it went out, and it could find no resting place for its foot. Then it came back, and he sent out another dove. This time it went out and it found a olive branch and came back. And right then the father said, "This is my son, the Prince of Peace." That is what he brought back. And I said, wait a minute. Are you kidding me? He said, these birds are the 4 living creatures of Ezekiel 1. And then the last bird goes out, and it finds a resting place, and it never returns to the ark. I'm like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Lori, these are the 4 living creatures, the birds. Look how it's all lined out. And I told her how it happened, and I'm just blown away, right? So so the next day, same thing happened. I come home and we turn on, I think I worked late or something, so we turn on cartoons again for Ezekiel. This time it was the Sower of the Seeds, the little kids cartoon, and he takes the farmer takes some seed and he throws it on the path, and you see these blackbirds come down and they eat it all up. And then he throws some seed on the path, and it sprouts roots on, no, he throws seeds on the rock, he throws seeds on the rock, and then it grows up real tall, but the sun comes out and it withers the plant because it couldn't get any roots. The third one, he throws seeds out, and they plant among the thorns and the thistles, and they grow up and choke the plant. And then the father says, this is like the crown of thorns that was placed on my son's head. I go, no way. No way. Are you kidding? And he says, this is the 4 times the 4 living creatures come on the earth. The first time was Adam's time, where the birds came down and devoured the seed. The second time was Moses' time, where their hearts were too hard, because this parable was all about their hearts, which he explains later. The third time, they were planted among thorns and thistles, around, like was placed on Yeshua's head. The fourth time, it lands on good soil. Their hearts have been prepared. Their hearts are ready. They accept and they grow 30, 60, and 100-fold. And I'm blown away. I just can't believe that this is happening. So then I think I changed jobs, and I'm no longer framing, but I'm working on a tile job. And I wear my my tassels, or my zeet, whatever you want to call them. But I have the them around my belt, and every time I have the one on the right, I take it off, and I would put it in the truck bed, or truck front seat. And then I would put it back on whenever I would take my work belt off, or my my carpenter bag off. So one day I was struggling. I was struggling really bad with whatever, and it was just a bad day. And I decided, you know what? I'm just not going to put it back on. It's just gonna sit there. And so I go, end of the day, I go and put my drive home, and telling on myself, but there I would just throw my bottles, or empty water bottles, or food trash over there, and I would eventually clean it up. But it was kind of building up, and like 3 days later, I started getting almost like a panic. Like, oh my gosh, did I lose it? I haven't seen it for a while. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I get to work, and I'm clearing the seat off of all the tools and everything else that's on it. And down at the very bottom, I find it. And as I'm digging, the Father says, you know, the 4 living creatures never leave their post. And I'm thinking, okay, well, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. And so I'm getting down to it, and I finally found it, and he says, the 4 living creatures never leave their post. And as soon as I grab it and pick it up and put it on, he says, these represent the 4 living creatures that guard your throne. Your heart is the throne of the Most High, and they are the guardians of it. Oh my gosh, Father, are you kidding? These are more than just commandments. These are a type and shadow of actual entities. The temple setup in heaven. That's why he says wear them on the 4 corners, because of the 4 living creatures that guard the throne. I'm just blown away. Right at this time, I think I'm reading Enoch, or listening to Enoch in there, and that day, it just happens to be that day where it says the cherubim, the seraphim, and the ophanim, the circles or the wheels, these are the guardians of the throne. And I am shocked. I'm just so shocked. I'm like, it's right there. It even says it. So I think that is going to be enough for today. I've got a lot more, but I need to prepare my thoughts. So thank you all for listening. I hope that you are blessed by this video. I pray that the Most High anoints you if you want to look into this, and I'm going to go into more depth with all of this stuff and really get to what the Father's wanting me to share about this, because there's so much more. So Father, I just ask that you bless these people, open their eyes, open their ears, help them to prepare their hearts for your coming, because it is so amazing, and the outpouring of your Spirit is going to be incredible. Father, I pray this in the name of your Son, Yeshua, Jesus the Christ. Amen.